what a show for the Rockies last night. 7 runs in the 8th inning on their way to an 8-3 victory over Arizona, which also snapped a 6-game losing streak for Colorado against the division-leading Diamondbacks. And welcome inside Coors Field. Upstairs with my partner Jeff Houston, I'm Drew Goodman. A great night outside, a little bit chilly. Fall has perhaps arrived in the Rocky Mountains. Also arriving 2 young players the Rockies have high hopes for, Jordan Pacheco and Willeen Rosario. And they both scored well on their first test.
Well, you have to be proud of the way they responded in their first big league start. Jordan Pacheco threw out 2 hits last night, a couple RBIs. Played third base like you would expect a kid to play third base coming up. But to get that first base hit out of the way in your first at bat, and then part of the big 8th inning rally that the Rockies put on the Arizona Diamondbacks with the RBI single, you just can't script things like that. And to see his smile on his face after the game when he was doing the interview with Alana and signing autographs, and you know his parents were happy. It's fun to watch young kids come to the big leagues, perform well, but also bring in energy with them.
Absolutely. And Willeen Rosario brought an energy behind the plate. He brought a focus, and I know his parents watching down in the Dominican on the computer were really thrilled to see his work.
And the big thing for Willeen is the way he handled the game last night with Jason Hamill. Jason said he only shook him off 2 or 3 times. And catcher is a very difficult position to come to the big leagues and perform because you're asked to do so many different things. And he handled all of that flawlessly last night.
He did very well. The catching instructor, Mark Foley, who calls him a son, was really pleased with his work last night. Troy Tulowitzki was pretty good. He's been around a little while. Rather large home run we'll talk about when we come back. The Arizona Diamondbacks, the rubber game, final meeting this year between Colorado and Arizona. The Rockies just 5-12 so far this year against the D-backs. Troy Tulowitzki getting ready. He now is sitting on 30 home runs and 103 RBIs, and one of his more memorable home runs, I'm sure, of 2011 occurred last night.
And it's the second night in a row that he's had a 3-run home run against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Kirk Gibson probably didn't like seeing it, but now Troy is just climbing up the ranks in the National League. 103 RBIs on the season. That breaks his old record of 99 that he had back in 2007. Hitting with runners in scoring position over 315 now. So everything that Troy wanted to accomplish, save the outcome of the team victories, he's been able to accomplish this year.
He keeps raising that bar. He is the best offensive shortstop in the game, and the guy who's in second right now is way down the list. So Tulowitzki's in a great place. The Rockies will hand the baseball tonight to Kevin Millwood. That's been a good thing, especially when he faces the Snakes. 6 in one lifetime. Come on back to Coors Field with us. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Ford Fiesta with 40 MPG. It's a pretty big deal. Ford Fiesta, drive one. By CenturyLink. Quest is now CenturyLink. Your link begins here. Find out more at CenturyLink.com. By Sonnet, you've got two hands for a reason. Put the chicken coney in one and the bacon and blue dog in the other. They're new and only at Sonnet for $1.99. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online, only at southwest.com. Welcome back to the Mile High City. The Rockies getting ready to go against the Arizona Diamondbacks. 36-year-old Kevin Millwood will lead the Rockies onto the field. Even though it's pretty cool out, Kevin will go with the short sleeves. Grew up in North Carolina, lives in Georgia.
This is nothing to him.
Yeah.
I see a lot of pitchers do that. They don't like the sleeve feeling on their elbow.
And also a lot of pitchers, I knew Baldo was this way, they like the sleeveless jersey because they feel like there's nothing grabbing at their arm.
Very comfortable. I always enjoyed wearing the vest.
Gerardo Parra will be the leadoff man tonight for the Diamondbacks. He's hitting at .294. He's having a very fine season. And here is the rest of Kirk Gibson's lineup on a Wednesday night at the ballpark. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Aaron Hill has been terrific. He's hitting .392 since coming to the National League from Toronto. Justin Upton will be next. Miguel Montero has a 14-game hitting streak. Paul Goldschmidt, big, strong, young first baseman. Jeff Blum back in there. He had a good night 2 nights ago. Colin Cowgill will bat 7th. He'll be in center field for Chris Young. John McDonald again at shortstop. And the left-hander, the former Angel, Joe Saunders, on the hill. Kevin Millwood, he was coming off a terrific performance at Petco Park.
Yeah, 7 innings, 8 strikeouts, 0 walks. I'd say that was a impressive performance. His career against Arizona, 6-1 with the 193. And Kevin has the ability to mix and match pitches. Fastball away, the cut, slider, and he is just a steady starter.
Well, here are the gloves behind him. Smith, Fowler, and Gonzalez. Seth Smith will get the start against the left-hander. Jordan Pacheco's in there again at third. Tulowitzki and Ellis up the middle. Wigginton is at first. Again, Todd Helton hoping to be back on Friday with the stiffness in the back. And the kids out there behind the plate again as well. Willeen Rosario. I was kidding Willeen in the clubhouse. I said, the guy you're catching tonight, he's old enough to be your dad.
36 years old. 412 career starts for Millwood.
Isn't that something? 161 career victories. That's tied for 7th among active pitchers. So here we go. Gerardo Parra will step in first. In 3 ball games, Kirk Gibson has used 3 different players atop his lineup. Willie Bloomquist on Monday afternoon. Last night it was Ryan Roberts. And this evening it'll be Parra.
This is Parra's first start in the leadoff position this year. He's at second, but mainly in the 8th spot in the lineup. 71 times Parra's hit there.
But you know what? I think it's a spot. He's very versatile. I think it's a spot he can hit in. We know he's a good hitter. He has a .357 on base percentage. He can run a little bit, so it's not a bad fit if Kirk Gibson, opts to go in that direction on occasion.
Very versatile.
Millwood misses there. It's 2-0. 57 degrees our game time temperature. We were down in Arizona a week ago and we were telling you it was 111 outside. In fact,
that's the beauty of Colorado.
Yeah, one day in your home state was 114, so basically it's half of that now.
Yeah, but it's a dry heat.
Right.
Whatever that means. So is an oven or a microwave.
I'm not getting in that. 2 balls and a strike on Parra.
And there is the movement from Kevin Millwood.
And real late movement.
And that's what we saw in San Diego every pitch. Down and away from left-handed hitters. Right-handers, he would cut it. He would also throw the hip side fastball to left-handers, where the lefties will raise their hands up and then it is still a strike.
In the air to left center field. Smith is not going to be able to make the catch. I think he got in the neighborhood. And he'll go for a double for Parra. It's one where Smith did like all good outfielders. He ran to a spot and he looked up and he may have overrun it just slightly.
But Parra hit the ball right on the sweet spot of the bat. We saw Seth make a running catch almost in the same area last night to end the ball game.
So a leadoff double, the 17th for Parra, and that'll bring up Aaron Hill. 9-game hitting streak in which he's had 18 hits and 36 at bats. So it's not just one of these 1-for-4 type of hitting streaks. It's a couple hits every night.
A lot of them were of the pull variety.
Pops his bun up, and it is 0-1. Boy, the way Aaron Hill swinging the bat, you say, hey, thank you.
But his role in this at bat is different than the way it's been in other at bat. He's trying to hit the ball to the right side. Jordan Pacheco playing in a step at third base. Troy is holding the runner at second.
This goes against Hill's instincts
Right,
because he is a pull hitter.
Dead pull.
1 ball, 1 strike.
I'm sure that was his thought process once Parra hit the double.
And you know, from his standpoint, I think it's a really good idea. You have a kid at third base who's not a third baseman, and you have Wigginton at first base who is not really a first baseman, at least by trade.
And the other thing too was the tarp was on the field all day today. So both Jordan Pacheco, Ty Wigginton were not able to take any sort of ground balls because of the field conditions. Batting practice in the tunnels today.
Hill's 10 for 20 against the Rockies, all in the last week. And this is popped up to shallow right. Cargo's setting his feet, and there is no way Parra is going to test out his buddy. Because the only left arm in the outfield that is comparable to Carlos Gonzalez's in the National League is Gerardo Parra's.
Yeah, Parra has 11 outfield assists. Carlos Gonzalez 12 outfield assists. And with the ball not traveling very far, the momentum going towards third base, smart move. And now we understand why Aaron Hill tried to lay down the sacrifice bunt. It goes against what he likes to do.
Exactly. Justin Upton will face Kevin Millwood for the first time. Upton 2 for 4 last night. He's 4 for 8 in the series, a double and a home run. And now Millwood will call out Rosario.
Well, Lean flashed the same signs both times. Kevin, being the veteran pitcher that he is, shook him off, call him out so it speeds up the game. Kevin likes to pitch with tempo.
And all defenders like pitchers who pitch with tempo. And Upton takes a strike. Play 1-1. Upton leads the National League in extra base hits with 70. Troy Tulowitzki second on that list with 68, and Ryan Braun has 67. Parra at second, a leadoff double. There's 1 out. And I'm getting in the head right now, or trying to Kevin Millwood. I would not be surprised if the next 2 pitches are off the plate away also, and he sets up a double play opportunity with Miguel Montero.
I understand that to a certain extent, but also Montero, the way he has hit against the Rockies this year, he is a double play candidate, but he has also provided Diamondbacks with a lot of power.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a comfort level with the pitcher. And if he looks in the on-deck circle and, yeah, it's a left-handed hitter, yes, it's a left-handed hitter with pop, but if he feels like he can
throw that sinking fastball
run it
him.
away and get a rollover. 2-2 the count. And Rosario shows inside, they go away, and the fastball is off the plate. That's the hardest pitch Kevin's thrown so far. That was at 91.
But it's where he wanted the pitch. Will lean off the plate to see if Justin Upton would fish for it.
Slider away?
Slider or fastball away?
Slider got a little more of the plate than he wanted to. And now Parra will test the arc. Cargo's throw is not going to be in time. 2 outs. And Parra at third base, and Miguel Montero will come up.
Different depth this time than the first time for Gerardo Parra.
It's so pretty if you're behind home plate at the ball game. As you look at two guys that know each other well, two of the best defensive outfielders in the National League, two of the best arms in the National League. I know in talking to folks inside the Arizona organization, they believe Parra should win a Gold Glove also.
1 error on the season for Gerardo. As I mentioned, 11 outfield assists, second in the National League. I just don't think he has the reputation yet. And reputation speaks volumes sometimes, whether you win an award or not.
Yep. I was just saying, sitting behind home plate, whether you're a fan at the ballpark or where we sit in our booth, it's so pretty to watch a guy like Gonzalez throw the ball, and then if you've ever had an opportunity to walk out on a major league field and then you stand where he just was, Montero fouls this off, and you look to third base and you look and you say, oh man,
truly can't appreciate how far it is.
It's unbelievable.
But that's why it's fun to watch some of the great throwers in the game. And Ichiro, of Vlad Guerrero, back when he was still playing the outfield.
And working ahead now, 0-2 is Kevin Millwood to Miguel Montero. He of the 14-game hitting streak. Hitting .352 during the 14-gamer. One other point about Cargo and the Gold Glove. The thing that will additionally help him, and I don't think he needs this, anybody who watches the game knows how talented he is, but the fact that he's played all 3 outfield spots helps this year. They look around and say, boy, I saw him for a couple weeks in center field. He was terrific. Some other manager will say, well, I remember when he was in left field running all those balls down that we thought were extra bases in that left center field gap at Coors Field. And then obviously of late we've seen what he's done in right field.
But that's how he won it last year too.
His versatility.
Over 40 games at each position, and he won his first Gold Glove.
2 outs, 1-2 on Miguel Montero. Good pitch. Got it in on the knuckles.
That was almost on the thumb guard if he wears one. That's how on the knuckles it was.
You used to wear one of those, didn't you?
No, I did not.
Oh, you did not wear one? Okay. Did you ever mess around with it?
I messed around with it. I didn't like the way it felt in my hand, and I felt like I lost control of the bat.
Two and two. Home plate umpire tonight is Jerry Davis. Jerry's the crew chief. Mike DeMuro at first, Angel Hernandez at second, and Todd Tishner is at third base.
Checking.
Well, there's the RBI leaders the last 10 days. Miguel Montero with 9. 3-2 count on Montero.
Just threw him a fastball up in the zone. Good time to go back down and away.
Center field, and Dexter will make the catch. Nice job of pitching by Kevin Millwood. He gave up the leadoff double to Parra, and Parra ends up stranded at third. Getting ready to roll with Dexter Fowler. And he has been on some kind of roll. Cooled off a little bit last night. He was 0 for 4 and a walk, but did have an RBI in the ballgame. Here's the Southwest Airlines batting order tonight for Jim Tracy. Mark Ellis will bat second. Cargo third. He's at 299. Troy's at 304. Then Ty Wigginton. Seth Smith. Willeen Rosario seventh. Jordan Pacheco, who had a couple of hits and a couple of RBIs last night, will bat eighth in front of Millwood. And they'll face the 30-year-old Joe Saunders, a product of Virginia Tech.
157th career start for Joe Saunders. July he was very good, but since then has fallen off hard. We talked about Rogers the other day and his first inning struggles. Joe Saunders falls into that category as well. 18 runs in his 28 starts in the first inning with a batting average against him of 321.
That's 18 runs in 28 starts, so he's had trouble getting out of the first inning, particularly early in the season. He was 0 and 5. And remember, coming out of spring training, or at least initially in spring training, it was thought that Saunders would get the opening day start.
But he pitched so bad.
He pitched so poorly, he was moved back in the rotation. And then he came out of the gate in April slow. This is in the air to right field. Upton waiting. Here's the defensive alignment tonight for Arizona. Parra is in left. Colin Cowgill is in center field. Justin Upton in right. Blum and McDonald left side. Aaron Hill and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side, and Miguel Montero is behind the plate. So you look at that infield. The start of the year, Blum was on the DL. McDonald and Hill were in Toronto, and Paul Goldschmidt was in Double-A. And here they are, leading the National League West by 6 ball games.
Testament to their club and their manager Kirk Gibson. You lose Stephen Drew with the horrific ankle injury.
1 ball, 1 strike on Ellis. Yeah, they have not missed a beat. It's been one of those seasons for Arizona. That's why, as we chatted about last night, some of the Rockies players look at Arizona and they see, especially the ones that were around, they see themselves in 2007.
Last night was a prime example up until the 8th inning when the Rockies took the lead with the ball between the legs of Miguel Montero. Bounces back off the wall, right to him.
Ripped up the middle of base hit for Mark Ellis.
And they're getting Eric Young at the plate.
Absolutely. One of the fastest guys in baseball. It's like that was like a backyard play. He threw it on, came back off the chimney, right back to me. You're out.
You're just almost like a game of horse. I'll throw it off the wall, catch it, tag the guy out. You try to duplicate it. Can't be done.
And not only the ricochet, but the ricochet right back. I mean, Miguel Montero turns around and goes, "Oh, thank you."
Oh, thank you. Hey, fast guy, Eric Young.
Cargo 5 for 18 against Saunders with a home run. And that's inside.
Well, you mentioned Saunders' start. He was 0 and 5 in danger of coming out of the rotation until he beat the Rockies back on May 24th for his first win.
And then he got hot. Ellis will draw a throw. Cargo has 18 at bats against Joe Saunders, and at least a few of those took place when they were in the same division in the American League. Carlos was with the Oakland A's. Isn't it weird saying that?
Yes.
You just think that Carlos has always been with the Rockies. Two-0.
I'm sure a lot of people think that Joe Saunders, they remember him with the Angels.
Yeah.
He came over in the Dan Herron trade in the middle of last year.
Here's the 2-0. 2-1. So much attention thrust on Troy Tulowitzki and his 3-run home run last night, and well, it should be. That gave the Rockies the lead, but with 2 outs, Carlos did his thing again, driving in the Rockies' second run. which set the stage, obviously, for Troy to do his thing.
Still amazing, the .478 batting average for Carlos with runners in scoring position, 2 outs.
Well, the last 5 years, the only player to have a higher batting average over the course of a season with 2 outs and runners in scoring position was Casey McGee last year, just slightly better with the Milwaukee Brewers. 2-2. Huey, that's right where you sit sometimes.
Off the wall.
Did that get Bo?
No, Bo just picked it up off the ricochet. Bo, you okay?
Thumbs
Good,
up.
Bo.
So he's the first line of defense there. Set up way outside.
Carlos covering the pitch away as well as the ball inside.
He held up 3-2. Bottom of the first, no score. Kevin Millwood, Joe Saunders hooking up. Ellis takes off, and this is in the air. Shallow left grab by the shortstop, John McDonald. 2 outs. Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. You know where we're going. Last night in the 8th inning, Rockies trailing 3-2. A hanging slider, and Tulowitzki crushed it. Straight away, center field, 3-run blast, and the Rockies were on their way. Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Troy came into the series 6 for 53 against Arizona with a home run and 6 RBIs. He has 2 home runs and 6 ribbies in the first 2 games of this set.
It's September, isn't it?
It is September, and nobody in the last 3 Septembers, including the one that's just underway, have driven in more runs than Tulowitzki. In his career, he's up to 111 RBIs in the month.
Who could forget last year with the 40 RBIs?
15 home runs, 40 RBIs. I mean, you think about that. If you have a player on your roster who hits 15 home runs, you say, hey, you know, he's got decent pop. He's going to hit you mid-teens in home runs. He did it in a month. Tulowitzki went around.
And that's why sitting on 30 home runs right now, conceivably at the end of the season, 36, 37 home runs, 120, 125 RBIs.
Yeah, I mean, if he absolutely goes nuts, there's 20 games left, including this one. But I think that he'll be in the, you know, above 110 RBIs easily. Based on what he's averaged so far this year, as you look at his numbers, you know, he's going to be around 113, 114, somewhere right in there. You know, it's amazing. Only one National League player in history, the history of this game, has had it in the 30 and 100 year. Ernie Banks, who did it 5 times. Before Ernie later on in his career moved over to first base. But I mean, think about that. Troy Tulowitzki, it's like we always kid about Todd. He's on the list with these big names, and he just moved past that Hall of Famer and another Hall of Famer on some other list. Well, Tulowitzki, in terms of power hitting, offensive shortstops, already has established himself as one of the best ever in the history of the National League. And he's young in his career.
Ernie Banks Did it in 55, 57, 58, 59, and 60.
He was way ahead of his time.
Over 40 home runs each of those seasons.
The guys who hit home runs back then were outfielders and first basemen. Occasionally you'd have a third baseman hit home runs. Ellis at first. Here's the 1-2.
And what a nice man Ernie Banks is. Had the pleasure of meeting him when I was with the Cubs. He would come to spring training just to be around him. Has a smile on his face every day, telling stories.
I remember one of the treats in going to Wrigley Field as a broadcaster was go watch batting practice and hang out around the cage, and Ernie Banks was there. Billy Williams was always there. No swing.
Half the Diamondbacks were heading towards the dugout.
They were trying to influence Jerry Davis. Or perhaps Mike DeMuro at first. 23rd pitch of the inning for Joe Saunders. Saunders with an ERA over 5 here at Coors Field. And a nice play by Saunders. Nice hit off the end of the bat. So nothing decided through 1 inning of play. No scores. We go to the second. Paul Goldschmidt will lead it off for the Snakes.
Scores, we head to the top of the second inning. Paul Goldschmidt will lead off the inning for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and this young man has certainly been impressive since making his major league debut on August 1st. 6 home runs, 19 ribbies in that time, and guys, he's been very effective against the elite pitchers of the game. If you take a look at what he's done so far, he's taken Tim Lincecum deep 2 different times. He hit a home run off all-star reliever Tyler Clippard of the Nationals, and if it wasn't for Paul Goldschmidt, Cliff Lee of the Philadelphia Phillies would be perfect in the month of August. Lee threw 39 2/3 innings, gave up only 2 runs, that being off of a 2-run shot by Goldschmidt. And I'll ask you guys, what do you think makes him so effective? He certainly doesn't seem like the big stage here affects him, especially offensively.
Well, he's cut down on his strikeouts. That was, you also don't become the USA Today minor league player of the year without having some talent.
He's got Popeye power too. So if you make a mistake,
he'll hit it a long way.
Talking to Chris Young about him the other day, and he reminds you a little bit, at least stance-wise, of another guy who had a lot of power, Jeff Bagwell, in that he doesn't really stride. And Jeff Bagwell was a negative strider. He brought that lead foot actually back toward his back foot. And you can see right there, that was a great shot of it. You know, he just kind of toes up a little bit.
Another hitter that was very good at that, Paul Molitor. Molitor would do the same thing. Just lift that left foot up, turn it in, and fire from there.
Here's a 2-1 on Goldschmidt. That's outside 3-1. And if you've ever watched Albert Pujols, he just kind of rolls up on that toe to get his weight shifted to the backside.
You have to be big and strong to do that.
Three and two.
I don't see many guys weighing 180, 190 pounds swinging like that. This is a big 240s, 250 guys.
Reserved for the big fellas.
Although Molitor was not that big, but did he have his quick wrists?
You know, again, now we're talking just about size of guys. You look at two of the greatest players of all time, greatest home run hitters of all time, Henry Aaron and Willie Mays, 5'11", 180 pounds.
Sometimes it can't be explained, the power that they generate. It's like a golfer. Some of the guys that have the long drives, they're not big guys. They just, the technique, everything comes together at the right time.
Yeah, I've met Freddie Couples a few times, and before the back injuries, the multiple back injuries, before some of the younger generation and the new technology came out. Couples was one of the longest hitters on tour, and he's not very big. This is backhand play for Pacheco. Good throw.
Good footwork.
Good footwork. I'll tell you a little story about Jordan Pacheco. Jordan's always been a good athlete. We discussed that last night. He was a high school basketball player also. And in his senior year and his junior year of high school, he wasn't really recruited as a position player. There were some schools interested as a pitcher. He threw in the upper 80s, would touch 90 as a pitcher, and his freshman year at New Mexico, he closed some games.
He'll play shortstop, close for you. We saw the arm strength on the throw from down the line on that ball by Goldschmidt. I was talking about the footwork. He took his right foot to the ball and planted on that to give him the momentum going to first.
1-1 on Jeff Blum. Pacheco, by the way, is the 7th different player to start a ball game at third this year for Colorado. Wigginton has 61 starts. Ian Stewart 31. Jose Lopez 23. Chris Nelson 14. Kuzminov 11 recently. Johnny Herrera has a start there. Now Jordan has 2 of them. And as everybody knows who's followed the Rockies, that has been a problematic position for Colorado. Obviously, Stewart did not have the year he was hoping for, the organization was hoping for. Wigginton's done some good things there, but hasn't hit as well with runners in scoring position. And so the overall offensive third base ranks for the Rockies 24th in Major League Baseball in RBIs, 28th in batting average at .216, 24th in slugging percentage, and that's typically a power spot.
Power position, and they did not get the power from that. And the headline is apropos, the not so hot corner, because as you mentioned, 7 different guys having to man the position, where you would like to have 2 guys, one guy primarily for 150 games, another guy just for 10 or 12 starts.
Yep.
That was an excuse me swing from Jeff Blum. Excuse me, I got the barrel to the ball and hit it over the head of the third baseman for a base hit.
And now he's describing it to Ty Wigginton.
Yeah, you go up there, keep the hands back. I don't want to swing. That looked like a painful swing watching his face.
It looked like a bad volley in a 3.5 tennis match down at the club. But it worked out.
The result.
So we beat you up a little bit, Jeff, but you're on first base with a one-out single.
With a base hit.
And we're sitting up here chatting about it. Colin Cowgill's at the plate. Cowgill with Chris Young's issues offensively in the second half, starting to get some run out there in center field.
Well, Chris Young just 8 for his last 71. Well, 1 for 23. However you want to spin those numbers, not good. And Cowgill, they want to see if he can get some traction.
Good fastball away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kevin Millwood making his 6th start. And one of the sets of numbers that jumps out at you when reviewing his work over the last few weeks: 23 strikeouts, just 4 walks. If you're going to beat Kevin Millwood, you're going to have to swing the bat to do it.
And also has kept the ball in the ballpark. That was an issue the first 2 or 3 starts.
He gave up 6 home runs in the first few. Obviously coming off a 7-inning shutout performance in San Diego, in which he struck out 8 and didn't walk a batter. Hey, if your windshield's hurting, call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com. Here's the 1-2 on Cowgill. And the cutter misses. Diamondbacks, despite losing last night, have still won 12 of their last 14 games.
They have the luxury of knowing the San Francisco Giants have already lost today to the San Diego Padres.
So the separation back to 6.5.
Matt Cain, the loser. Aaron Harang with the win. Heath Bell with his 36th save.
Did you catch a Yankee game last night?
You know what? I went to bed before it started.
So did everybody in New York. Didn't start till 11:15 in New York. This is well hit center field. Dexter will get there. 2 outs.
Well, I wasn't quite in bed yet, but you're right. 11:08 Eastern time. They had to turn around and play a day game today. It went 11 innings today.
And the game finished at 2:15 Eastern time, and that's what happened, as Jeff just said, this afternoon. Baltimore won 5-4. And if you're wondering how on earth can they wait over 4 hours to start a ball game, the Yankees have to head west. They've already lost an off day because of weather, and you're getting down to the nitty gritty here in the season. And you just had to play it.
And they're 2 games up on Boston. If both teams were 15 games back and it really didn't matter, they would postpone it. But because it might decide home field advantage, they have to play every game they can.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are going to go to the postseason, but you're talking about the difference between winning the division or being the wild card. Boston's leading in the 6th inning in Toronto tonight, 8-5. Josh Beckett will just miss 1 start with that ankle injury for the Red Sox.
I'm not sure I've ever heard of a delay start time of over 4 hours.
Good pitch, 1-1. Steven Strasburg, as we discuss happenings around baseball in the last 24 hours. Well, I guess he didn't miss a beat, did he?
5 innings.
2 hits.
2 hits.
No walks. Struck out 4. Unfortunately, after he left, the pitching was not so good for the Nationals. They lost to the Dodgers.
And that game today was postponed. LA at Washington.
And the 2-1 is lined to left for a base hit. So John McDonald reaches, and Joe Saunders will come up. Blum to second. 2 outs.
Joe Saunders 11 for 50.
He'll give you a competitive at bat.
Well, he has to compete against the Daniel Hudsons and the Ian Kennedys.
And the Micah Owings.
And the Micah Owings. But Arizona,
you know what's wild?
Best pitching staffs as far as hitting this year.
Yeah, and they have 50 hits this year as a pitching staff and more than 30 RBIs. You know what's wild, though? I mean, they have Micah Owings, and there are 1, 2, 3 guys hitting higher than Micah Owings. Daniel Hudson's had the great year. He's at 298. Zach Duke's hitting 263 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. And Saunders comes in at 220. Mike Owings, he's hitting 211. No home runs, 1 RBI. And all of his hits this year have been singles. And the 0-1 is sliced to left, and it is a foul ball by 5 or 6 feet.
Hey, make sure you're at Coors Field this weekend to cheer on your Rockies when they take on the Cincinnati Reds. Reminder, Saturday's game is a day game, 2 p.m. Hey, I was just handing a note from Doug, and I was talking about the rain delay. I've never heard of one 4 hours. He said, according to the Washington Post, the longest rain delay was 7 hours and 23 minutes at Comiskey when the Texas Rangers were supposed to play there. I remember it was a Sunday game. We never played. That's why I didn't consider it a rain delay. It was back in 1990.
Tulowitzki to first, and that's all for the Diamondbacks. Were you at the Rangers back then?
I was. We were going to Kansas City. It was a day game on Sunday. We didn't leave till 8 that night.
What'd you play, Parcheesi in the clubhouse?
We ate him out of the clubhouse.
Toyota stores. Toyota moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By McDonald's, brighten up your day with a free small premium roast coffee at McDonald's, only until September 25th. I'm loving it. And by the Colorado Lottery, it's Mega Millions from the Colorado Lottery, mega jackpots every Tuesday and Friday. Temperature in the 50s at Coors Field. Pretty soon, when the fountains go up there, you're just going to freeze. Oh, there are more beautiful days to come. Rockies and Diamondbacks scoreless. Rockies will have Ty Wigginton in the bottom of the second. Seth Smith and Willeen Rosario. A slower pace to the first 9 outs of this ball game. Two teams have been out there for more than 45 minutes. So Wigginton will step up. 14 home runs, 44 driven in. Ty in October will turn 34. First year of a 2-year deal. And that's outside, 2-0. Wigginton 2 for 6, including a home run against Joe Saunders. And a ground ball to McDonald.
Sure hands.
Well, he's made only 3 errors all year, and it's one of the reasons at 36, John McDonald has hung around as long as he has.
Play different positions. He can play second base. He can play shortstop, third base. Versatile player.
Who wants tacos? Fans, remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any game, like they did last night, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies Taco Special. Hope you drop by Taco Bell today between 4 and 6 after the Rockies put up an 8 spot yesterday. Strike 1 on Seth Smith. I think Seth being in the lineup tonight, one of the reasons, an affirmation of the work he's done left on left.
Last night, prime example. Base it off of Joe Patterson.
Now, Seth Smith last night had a pair of triples for the second time this year. It's the 19th time this season a player's had 2 triples in a game. Only 3 players have done it twice. Austin Jackson, Seth Smith, and Jose Reyes has done it 3 times. Here's Willeen Rosario looking for his first major league hit. Last night 0 for 3 and a walk.
But didn't look overmatched at the plate.
No, and I asked him today, I said, were you nervous? And he said, not really. Pulled foul, and you know, I don't think it's false bravado or anything. If you watched last night, and we're fortunate enough that, you know, we're in the dugout around the clubhouse before the game, he didn't have the air of somebody that was really nervous.
It just seemed like it was another ball game to him.
You know, excited,
sure.
Yes,
and rightfully so. But on the post-game show last night, with the interview with Willeen, he said the same thing. Once the game started, it was another game for me.
Slowly hit. He may get his first knock right here. He will. Doesn't matter what it looks like. His first major league hit. You know what? He could tell his children one day he was a line shot to left, even though this one went 45 feet.
It does not matter how far it went, what happened, dry field, wet field, no throw. It's a base hit and one they could never take away from you. He was moving down the line.
Remember we were talking about it yesterday. First saw him when he was 18 in the Dominican, in Boca Chica at the Rockies facility there, and that was one of the things that got your attention. You said, wow, that's a pretty fast catcher. So now Jordan Pacheco, who got rid of his first hit in his first at bat, he smoked the ball to center field. He would end up with a 2-hit night and a 2 RBI night. Saunders will throw him out here. We'll go to the third inning, scoreless at Coors Field. Congratulations to Willeen Rosario. Quote of the day, Jim Tracy on the first big league performance for those two.
I saw two very confident kids that went out there and said, hey, you know, I'm in the big leagues, I'm going to get my money's worth. And good for both of them. And I think they both represented themselves extremely well.
Yes, they did. And Pacheco playing third base now for the 7th time this year. Yesterday being the 6th time, and just a handful of times at third base during the AAA season for Stu Cole.
Yeah, I know he made the throwing error last night, but the more he plays third base, the easier that play will become for him. He just rushed the throw.
They're not worried about it. Jim Tracy was saying beforehand, he said he'll learn that. We'll teach him. We're talking about a very good athlete.
That's why you can move him from shortstop to second base, put him behind the plate, and now move him to third.
Gerardo Parra doubled his first time up. Well, Doug Linton, who's the pitching coach for the Sky Sox, and since the end of the season he's been in uniform with the Rockies here at Coors Field. Doug was telling me earlier that offensively this was a transition year for Pacheco in that this ball is in the air to center field. Dexter's got it. In that last year, remember, he was paired in Tulsa with Willeen Rosario. So they were both catching half the time. This year, by and large, Pacheco was doing the vast majority of the catching in Colorado Springs. So a new league, more catching duties, and it probably affected his offense as well.
No doubt it did. To hit 270 for Pacheco, 278, his numbers will be higher than that.
Yeah.
But that's a lot for a young man to take on. Moving up a league, you're catching more. Your responsibilities first and foremost as a catcher is how you handle that pitching staff. But then you have to go out and also hit.
Speaking of hitting, wow, Aaron Hill now with a 10-game hitting streak.
Where did he hit it? Left field.
He pulls everything.
It'd be nice to have a 500 average during the 10-game hitting streak.
Again, this is a guy with several really good years in the big leagues who's tailed off the last couple of years. Until the trade this year, he was hitting just .225 with Toronto.
And just 6 home runs.
Justin Upton hit a fly ball to Carlos Gonzalez his first time. That's a strike. This is fouled off out of play. Coming up in the 6th inning, Toyota Talk. We'll solicit your thoughts. We're doing that right now on anything having to do with the Rockies or Major League Baseball here in the month of September. Text Toyota, followed by a space, and then those comments. And if you have any questions, pass them along as well to 720-720. Hey, tonight's Wednesday night, and we'll talk to Jim Tracy after the bottom of the 4th inning tonight. Here's the 0-2 and a line drive that Tulowitzki's not going to be able to reach. And Smith will throw it to third. Out at third base. Aaron Hill trying to go first to third. Smith made a perfect throw. And Jordan Pacheco applying the tag. Back-to-back nights he's been able to do that.
I know the ball was not hit hard, but as hard as Seth Smith charges, it's a mistake for Aaron Hill to try to go to third base. The ball's in front of you. This is your read. It's nothing on the third base coach. It was also a bad head first slide. Ty Wigginton likes to throw. Aaron Hill put the arms out, but then the landing gear stuck.
And I know if you're Kirk Gibson, and I know the Rockies like to play this way, they wanted to play this way this year. I mean, they're running a lot in terms of trying to swipe bags. They're trying to go first to third more. And the team that has kind of headed up that style of play over the last dozen years is Mike Scioscia's Angels. So if I'm sitting there and I'm a Diamondback fan, yeah, it's a scoreless game. Yeah, you have Miguel Montero up there. There should be 2 on and 1 out. Maybe it's not the smartest play, but I don't mind the aggression.
But what's happened in this series might lead you to not do that with the throw from Carlos Gonzalez. And then the same thing happened last night with Seth Smith and Troy Tulowitzki to get the runner at third base. And then follow it up again tonight with another throw from Seth Smith.
Maybe they'll be a little more cautious the rest of the way.
At some point, it's fine to be aggressive, but don't be silly.
Center field and deep, and Dexter's going to run out of room. This one's into the fountains. A 2-run home run for Miguel Montero, his 15th of the year, and he now extends his career best hitting streak to 15 games. '76 RBIs, the most among any catcher in the game.
Well, instead of being a 3-run home run, it's just a 2-run home run. Slider that did not slide but stayed flat. Miguel Montero has the power to take it out of center field.
Paul Goldschmidt fouls it off. On the outside corner, 0-2. Montero, one of the leaders of the Arizona Diamondbacks in the clubhouse. Garrulous personality, good guy. And he can back up any conversation with his actions on the field. 2-0 on the Montero 2-run shot with Upton aboard. card for a chance to win World Series tickets. Compliments of Scott's. Back at Coors Field on September the 7th, 2011. The Rockies in game number 143, trailing 2-0. Kevin Millwood against Joe Saunders. And Millwood takes strike one. Millwood from Bessemer City, North Carolina. Got a Little League field named for him back in his hometown. Makes his current off-season home just north of Atlanta. Millwood,
Talk
go ahead,
to him. It sounds like a country and western singer.
Yeah, he's got that deep voice with the drawl.
Southern drawl.
2-2. Millwood in 1999 with Atlanta finished third in the Cy Young voting, and an Arizona Diamondback that year won it. A fellow by the name of Randy Johnson. He was in the midst of winning 4 in a row. 3-2. This ball's crushed to left field by Millwood, and it is gone. Home run, Kevin Millwood. 2-1 ball game. I know it was out of his hometown field, Bessemer City, North Carolina, because that thing was hammered about 410 feet.
He back-legged that baseball. Watch the back leg as he gets the sunflower seed shower in the dugout.
That's normally reserved for Tulowitzki.
The back leg collapses, the head down, follow through for his 3rd career home run.
And the Rockies' 2nd this year. Jason Hamill hit a home run against Milwaukee at Miller Park against Zach Greinke. He went out one of the deepest portions of the yard. And that Dexter at the plate takes ball 2, 2-1. As Jeff mentioned, his 3rd career bomb.
Nothing to that, guys.
Tulo wants some advice, huh?
That's one way to get a run back for you.
You know, there's some guys that come in the clubhouse and they immediately garner respect, and this ball's in the air to center field, but it's going to be grabbed there by Cowgill. Kevin Millwood, obviously, with his resume, is going to garner respect, but very quickly he's become popular with his teammates. He's just a good guy.
He has a confidence about him, but very approachable.
Yes. That's a great way of describing it.
Vast amount of knowledge from pitching for all the different franchises, pitching for the great staff in Atlanta with Maddox and Glavine and Smoltz. Why not use that resource?
Remember earlier in the year, Doug used to hand us a number, and he'd say, all right, it's been 3,200 at bats or whatever it is since the last Rockies pitcher hit a home run. Because actually before this year, the last home run by a pitcher was Jason Jennings, May 8th, 2004. And then Hamill went deep. And now Millwood hits the 35th pitcher home run all time in franchise history. And Mark Ellis hits this in the air to left field. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Gonzalez.
Now he just needs to catch his breath. Sit back, have a sip of water.
He may have trotted too fast. Carlos hit a pop to short in the first inning. Two to one ball game. We're in the bottom of the third. Here's something interesting Doug just looked up. The last Rockies pitcher to hit a home run at Coors Field, because the Jennings home run was at Wrigley, if I remember right. And Hamill, we said, was at Miller Park. Darren Oliver. That's a strike. Who's still going strong. I mean, you talk about the Energizer Bunny, and I was looking at his numbers the other day. He's pitching well again this year.
It's not just because he's left-handed. That helps, but he's putting up impressive numbers
for the Rangers, but that's back in 2003. High fly, deep right field, way back. We got ourselves a tie game. Second deck for Cargo. Now he's supposed to go deep. Number 25 for Gonzalez.
And when the home run hitters hit him, they know it. Carlos, when he hit this baseball, admired it for a second.
Kevin Millwood there, right, to greet him, says, welcome to the club. Saunders, I mean, as soon as he swung, knew it was long gone. Second career home run for Cargo against Joe Saunders. That was fun to watch also. And here's Tulowitzki. Outside and high, ball one.
Yeah, Saunders' reaction. When Carlos hit that, threw his hands down, put his head towards the ground.
And Troy with a base hit to left. Well, it doesn't matter what league it is, what level it is. You see G. Hill over there at first. Takes the batting gloves from Troy Tulowitzki. And obviously, we don't know what he's saying now, but I saw him indicate to Troy, reached around, he said two outs.
Never trust the scoreboard, but always make sure you're aware. Even if you know as a base runner there's two outs, somebody else remind you. The worst thing that could happen is the ball was hit, and for whatever reason you think there's one out and you don't run hard.
Part of the coach's responsibility. Don't assume anything. Let them know the situation. And sometimes, you know, if this at bat with Ty Wigginton gets lengthy, he'll let them know again.
And Richie Dower will hold his hands up. Ty, in his career, 372 average in 44 games against Arizona.
1-1, and a lot of that damage has been at Chase Field. He loves hitting there. Ty Wigginton, a product of the University of North Carolina, Asheville. No swing. 2-1. He went a long way to college. He's from Chula Vista, just outside San Diego. And now he makes his home outside of Charlotte. Three and one on Wigginton with Seth Smith on deck. Tied at 2. Pair of solo home runs in the inning. Kevin Millwood, of course. Somehow Carlos Gonzalez went deep also.
Was Seth Smith on deck, left-hander, for Saunders to throw a changeup.
Well, he went after him with a heater, and it's bounced to short. So a 2-run home run by Miguel Montero at the top of the third, and the Rockies counter with a pair of home runs. We are tied at 2 as we go to the fourth. centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Chilly out there, Alana?
It is a little cooler than it has been, guys. 57 degrees has been the coldest we've had all season, naturally. Well, maybe back in April it was that cold. I don't remember. But I wanted to talk a bit more about Kevin Millwood. After his last outing, Troy Tulowitzki said he really wished that a lot of the younger pitchers on the staff would take notice of what Kevin Millwood is doing on the hill. So I asked Alex White what he's noticed from Kevin Millwood. He said his pitch selection and his pitch location. He's not a guy that's going to overpower you, but he uses his stuff to get outs. And Alex also told me he had the same type of situation when he was with the Cleveland Indians in their organization watching Josh Tomlin. He said, you know what, again, he's not going to overpower you, but the type of stuff that he has is going to get you out. He says, I've learned a lot from watching both of those guys. And again, Kevin Millwood getting it done on the hill and with the bat tonight, guys.
There's a two-way player tonight, huh?
That's what they do in Little League. Pitch and hit home runs.
That third. Play shortstop. Close out the game on the hill. Here's the 0-2. Outside on Jeff Blum, 1-2. Good curveball, watch out. Oh. Hopefully everybody's all right there. Skipped off the roof of the dugout. Second strikeout for Millwood.
12-6 curveball that fell off the table. Jeff Blum tried to stop his swing in his first at bat and had the excuse me base hit to left. That time he loses the bat completely.
Cowgill hits it in the air down the right field line. Cargo's got a really long run. He's not going to get there.
Carlos was positioned more into right center field because Cowgill pattern, at least early on in the big leagues, is right center field. Now with a strike on Cowgill and the way they're pitching him, Carlos will slide 2 or 3 steps more to the right field line.
Is going to find a hole up the middle. Colin Cowgill, a University of Kentucky product, with a 1-out single, greeted there by Eric Young. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets. Do it by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. See a Wells Fargo banker for more details on any of your financial needs. wellsfargo.com. John McDonald to single his first time. He's hitting in the 8th spot in the lineup. One and 0 on John McDonald. Have you seen Frazier in a while since pregame show, Huey?
No.
You don't know. You don't want to know where he is.
No, I don't.
Somehow they forgot to lock the door to the truck.
Georgie's in the truck.
He snuck in.
Trying to stay warm.
He's trying to stay warm, and the rest of our crew is trying to keep their sanity. This is popped up left side. Tulowitzki will grab it. 2 outs. Joe Saunders will come up. Saunders bounced short his first time. Tied at 2 in the 4th inning.
Well, you still have a chance to follow the Rockies with MLB.com at bat. The 2011 app features highlights. You can receive this app by texting at bat to 31826.
That's the second time since he's become a Rocky he's had to go to his knees to make a play defensively. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th, tied at 2. Smith, Willeen Rosario, and Jordan Pacheco this inning to face Joe Saunders. It's also time for our AT&T trivia question. Matt Belisle has 10 wins this season out of the bullpen. Who holds the Rockies' season record for wins as a reliever? It's Matt on the right. Jim Wright is on the left of your screen. And we're going to give everybody an enormous hint.
Why?
Well, just because. I mean, it's late in the season, and sometimes you ought to get some help.
Yeah, but we have many knowledgeable fans.
Well, we do. There's no question about that. But I'm going to pass the hint along anyhow.
Okay.
Here's the 0-1. 0-2. This former reliever who holds the Rockies records for single season wins as a reliever is one of Susan Strand's all-time favorite Colorado Rocky pitchers.
That's the hint.
That's the hint. Susan.
People are saying, who's Susan Strand?
No, everybody knows that Susan Strand heads up and has for many, many
former
months our
Ponderosa High School star.
That's right, our graphics department in the truck. She has thousands working underneath her every night in that department. One and two the count on Smith. He grounded to first in the second inning. On the swing or the pitch?
The swing, the way Jerry Davis pointed to the bat.
And no argument from Seth. And maybe on the replay he went around, but up here it didn't look like he did.
Seth didn't think he did. He would have said, Jerry, next time you need to look down to third base and check with Todd.
First strikeout for Saunders. Here's Willeen Rosario. And Willeen hits one high and deep left center field. Way back. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Home run #1 of the career of Willeen Rosario. And he puts the Rockies out front. You think he's got a little pop?
That was a no-doubter. So far in 2 at-bats, you get your first major league hit, your first major league home run, your first major league RBI.
The only difference is this ball went about 440 feet farther than his first hit.
The best thing about it, it was at home. You're going to get the baseball back.
And Pacheco back live, lines one to short. He said he wasn't nervous. I guess he's not.
Jonathan.
The negotiation has begun. Well, here's another slugger, Kevin Millwood. Kevin looked back to check if Miguel Montero was going to have his arm out. He's going to get 4 wide ones.
All 3 runs for the Rockies tonight via the home run.
I can't wait till they announce the distance on that one. Honestly, that was in the 450 neighborhood. The one Cargo hit was 442.
421, 422 out to the point in left center field.
I think that's, again, this is a guess. I think that's 450 plus. And now you get a little bit more of an idea as to why we've talked a lot about him the last couple of years, why the Rockies are so excited about him, and why he is ranked so highly in Major League scouting circles. Millwood grounds out to short. The Rockies have taken a 3-2 lead on the home run by Willeen Rosario, his first career bomb. It will not be his last. Jim Tracy will be along to join us here in a moment. Got the skippers kind enough to join us. Hey, Trace, the kid's got a little bit of pop, doesn't he?
I think he established that, didn't he, with his last swing? There's no question about it. You know, Drew, I was talking about it, as you well know, earlier this afternoon, going back to last night. You know, in 2 days in the big leagues, you know, you got to give a young kid an awful lot of credit for the fact that there's a presence there. You know what I mean? And it's very, very encouraging to see, especially when you're talking about that position on the field.
And quickly, Kevin Millwood just continues to do what he does, and he throws out a home run tonight.
Yeah, he does, Huey. You know what? But what's interesting about it is the whole package is he's pitching. He did throw one up there, Jeff, and also the last play he made to end the 4th inning That's a pretty nice PFP play there also. This is a professional, just a guy that you love to have around young people, no question about that.
Well, Skip, we'll let you go. This weather's reminiscent of last week in Arizona, isn't it?
Just like it.
Trace, enjoy the rest of it.
See you guys.
Thanks, Trace.
Jim Tracy, his club leading 3-2 as we go to the 5th inning. Gerardo Parra in the top of the Diamondbacks order to face Kevin Millwood, who's gone Little League on us tonight.
Well, and 68 pitches for Millwood, but he is a steady starter. I said that in the 1st inning. I'll say it here again in the 5th, because each and every outing, they might nickel and dime him, throw out a hit or two here. I know there was a home run tonight, but he knows how to pitch.
You don't win 161 games if you don't know how to pitch, and especially when you get later in your career and maybe the stuff isn't as sharp, the fastball's a little shorter, and you're still winning ball games.
And right now, too, he's working very nicely with Rosario. Early on, they had trouble getting on the same page, a lot more shakeoffs. Not anymore.
One ball, one strike on Parra. Double his first at bat, and a fly ball to center field, his second AB. I was talking to Marv Foley, who's the Rockies' major league catching instructor, but he still will occasionally go out and check on some of the kids. In the last several years, he was the roving catching instructor in the minor leagues for the Rockies. Seth Smith in left should have a play here near the line. He will. One out. And he said there was one pitch he didn't catch last night. It went off his glove, and that pitch was a breaking ball that missed location by about 3 feet. Moline was set up outside. He was really pleased with how he handled himself, how he conducted himself. And then Jim Tracy just reaffirmed what Marv was talking about, just how he carries himself.
And the way he sets up behind the plate to allow the umpire, the home plate umpire, to get a good look at the pitch. Very subtle, nice low crouch. Not a ton of movement. Here's the target, hit it.
Well, that hit the bat. It's 0-1 on Aaron Hill. Hill a base hit in his last at bat. To extend his hitting streak to 10 ball games, Hill against the Rockies is now 11 for 22. He scored 6 runs. He has 4 doubles since coming from Toronto. LSU product. They've turned out quite a few.
Brad Hopp, Mike Fontenot, Ryan Theriot, all played together on the LSU championship team.
Skip Bertman. Well, if you feed him fastballs down in there, left side's got to be ready. 1-2. Checking
Jordan
the
should
integrity
move.
of that.
Well, Jordan should move one more step over towards third base. Stay in that area that you're clearing the dirt. Troy, move it over into the hole.
Here's the 1-2. He got it.
About the depth on the curveball tonight for Kevin Millwood.
I think all 3 of his strikeouts have been on the breaking ball.
Oh, I know Blum, the one he flung the bat into the stands, was the breaking pitch. Same action to Aaron Hill.
2 outs, nobody on. That's about the only time you want to see Justin Upton. Upton scored last inning, or excuse me, 2 innings ago on the home run by Miguel Montero. Rockies 3 and the Diamondbacks 2. We're in the 5th. And this one is dumped into shallow right, foul ground. And again in no man's land. A reminder, coming up in the 6th inning, we want to hear from you. Questions, comments, anything related to the Rockies, Major League Baseball. Text Toyota followed by a space in those comments to 720-720.
Does he go back to the 12-6 curveball?
Well, that's one of the things Justin Upton's thinking about right now.
Especially after the last pitch was a fastball on the knuckles. And it is the curveball.
And he got him swinging, but this goes to the backstop, and Rosario is not going to have a play. Now, how come Rosario didn't get the same kick that Montero got last night?
Hard off the wall. This went up on the netting and dropped straight down. A foot out in front of home plate. Rosario dropped to his knees, goes over his shoulder, and goes off the mask of Jerry Davis.
Well, it's a strikeout wild pitch. And now Millwood's going to have to get a 4th out this inning. And he's got Montero up there, who left the yard in the 3rd inning. 2-run home run to straightaway center.
And I went back and looked at the replay again of that home run. It was not a slider. It's just the way the ball looked coming out of Kevin's hand, where he turned that fastball over, but it was a fastball and not a slider that Montero hit out.
That misses inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rockies, with their win last night against, snapped a 6-game losing streak against the Diamondbacks.
And also a 4-game losing streak here at Coors Field against the Diamondbacks.
Miguel has 1 more year of arbitration, then he'll be a free agent.
Make a lot of money.
Exactly, after the 2012 season. And that curveball's away. 2-2.
He's one of the premier catchers in the game right now.
He really has become that. And a credit to Miguel in that, and you've discussed this before, Huey, he's really become a very good defensive catcher. And I don't think that was said about him a few years ago. Popped him up in the infield left side. Tulowitzki call. Nice job, Kevin Millwood. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th, top of the order. Rockies up a run. Today's Road Ahead is brought to you by E470. Find E470 on Facebook and Twitter for details on how to win free tolls. Tomorrow's an off day for the Rockies, and then the Reds are in town. The Cincinnati Reds at Dusty Baker. Friday night, we're on the air on Root Sports at 6 o'clock. No television Saturday. It falls in the national TV window, so you can't TV it. And then Sunday, we're on the air at 12:30. Monday's an off day, and then we'll resume Tuesday. 2-game set in Milwaukee against Prince fielder Ryan Braun, Niger Morgan, and the Brew Crew. Dexter's 0 for 2, fly ball to right, fly ball to center. Joe Saunders changing speeds again, and it's a 2-strike count.
Prior to being sent down, Dexter Fowler in 57 ball games hitting just .238. But since then, in the 50 games, a .308 average.
Good job by Dex, Jeff, covering that pitch away.
It was 2 or 3 inches off the plate. Just spoil it. Plate coverage you were talking about, Drew. Long arms.
And that's, you know, you can let that pass early in the count. You can't let it pass with 2 strikes. Hey, Ryan Spilborghs, we have to give you a little update. Tough news for Spilly, who came back. He was dealing with plantar fasciitis in the right foot, and he felt good for a couple of days, and then he re-injured it. And because of that, he's out for the rest of the year. So now,
tough way to end.
Yeah, and then the same deal, obviously, for Johnny Herrera. We told you yesterday he's playing with his kids, and just a crazy incident. He gets fingers caught in the door, and he breaks his pinky and his forefinger. And he was showing us what happened. He's playing hide and seek, and all of a sudden the door got slammed, and he had it in the crack in the door, and oh man. So we kind of sat. Good. Yeah, it didn't look good. So what we did is we actually sat down with Johnny and Aaron Cook and conducted how to open and close doors. We did that class for a couple.
It's not funny, no, but Aaron was sitting in the same room with Jonathan. Said, "Here's the door. Keep the fingers out when you close it."
Yeah, and Aaron had his mishap in spring training on a spring-loaded
Forgot the
door.
Forgot the phone in the car. Realized it. The door's closing. Tried to reach back, and everybody's done it.
Yeah.
Most people don't catch their hand in the door, though.
So unfortunately, Johnny's done for the year also. That's outside of Mark Ellis, 1 and 2.
But on a positive note, Chris Nelson will be available starting Friday. He's been dealing with heel issues.
And he's still got a walking boot on, but he was jogging in at the clubhouse today. That's fouled off. So Chris will be available Friday. Todd Helton feeling better today. He's stretching out the back and hopes to be ready to go Friday. One, 2. And a strikeout for Saunders, just his second of the ball game. And that'll bring up Cargo. Hit his 25th home run his last time up. Drove in his 89th run of the year. 1 for 2 tonight, and the average right at 300. Last year, he led the National League in hitting. Typical of most of his home runs, this was a no-doubter. 442 feet off the second deck. And we did finally get a distance on that Rosario home run.
Were you right? What'd you say? 450?
I said 450, and it was 448. That was a long home run.
But you would have lost if it was The Price is Right, because you went over.
I went over. I wasn't thinking that. Home batting average, Cargo at 337. Last year he was, what was he, around 380?
Because remember, Chipper Jones was talking about the average at home, and it was so high. But Chipper also had a high batting average at home when he won the batting title.
And Saunders strikes out Cargo this time. A 1-2-3 fifth inning for Joe Saunders. 3-2 ball game as we go to the sixth. Time for the Excel Energy high efficiency inning in the fifth inning for Kevin Millwood. He was facing the top of the order, and he got Gerardo Parra to hit a little fly ball down the left field line. That was handled by Seth Smith. Aaron Hill struck out. Justin Upton would strike out also, but it was a wild pitch, so he ended up reaching. So he had to get a fourth out. Miguel Montero popped out. That's all brought to you by Excel Energy. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save energy and money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. In the sixth inning, Paul Goldschmidt, Jeff Blum, and Colin Cowgill. Downtown Denver. Pretty night in the city. And a slider on the outside corner from Millwood. Goldschmidt a ground ball to third and a strikeout. This is looped to right center field and a base hit. That's the 8th hit of the night for Arizona. Jeff Blum will make his way to the plate, the veteran switch hitter. Alan Trammell, Kirk Gibson conversing. They have an all-star crew of coaches. Eric Young at first, Matt Williams at third, Alan Trammell in the dugout, Charles Nagy in the dugout. The amazing thing is Kirk Gibson, who is an MVP, never went to an all-star game.
Was not an all-star. 5 all-stars and your manager isn't.
And what we all realize with the all-star game is really, can you put up really good numbers for 2.5 months, the first 2.5 months? If you do that, you become typically an all-star.
The all-star game next year in Kansas City, right, Doug?
Diamondbacks hosted this year. got great reviews. Two and one. Yeah, we had a question about Jordan Pacheco's original position. I mean, if you go back to college, Jordan Pacheco was a second baseman primarily. He was converted to a catcher after one season of pro ball.
2008. And Jim Tracy has said that he is not adverse to seeing Jordan Pacheco get some time at second base here in the last couple weeks of the season.
And the curveball's a good one. Got him out front and a pop up to Pacheco.
Each time Millwood throws the curveball, it has success. Another one, 71 miles an hour, getting Blum on his front foot and the pop-up.
Javier in Los Altos wants to know if it's too late to consider Troy Tulowitzki for the MVP. I don't think there's any way in the world he would win it this year because the Rockies have been disappointing. But they'll tally up the votes and Troy will finish in the top 10. He's fifth. He's been fifth the last 2 years. And it would not surprise me to see him finish in the top 5 or 6 again, honestly.
And it looks like maybe Matt Kemp and Troy will fall into the same category, though.
I would agree.
Wonderful, wonderful numbers, but the teams are not winning.
One strike pitch coming to Colin Cowgill. Tell you what, Reyes and Braun having quite a battle for the National League batting crown. Still plenty of baseball left, almost 3 full weeks. Pujols with 34 home runs. Dan Uggla hit another one last night, opposite field shot. He's got 33. Prince Fielder with 108 ribbies, tied with Ryan Howard now. Kemp's got 107, and there's Tulo at 103. Ian Kennedy of the Diamondbacks has 18 victories. Reynolds and Belisle, and a good block there by Rosario, making sure Goldschmidt can't advance. 1 and 2. Those are the little things. The little things that help you win games. It's a 3-2 ball game. If that ball kicks away a little bit, he doesn't smother it. Now you have the tying run in scoring position.
And you don't have the double play in order anymore. Very soft landing on the knees so it doesn't jar the head.
I don't think Chris Iannetta gets enough credit for his ability to block the baseball. I think he's terrific at it.
And it is an art. But it's days and days of practice during spring training. And how many guys really like to go to spring training and say, I'd like to block 25 or 50 balls today? That sounds fun.
Yeah, when they crank the machine up.
Even if they use the softer balls, they still leave welts on the arm.
Those guys in spring training, you know, the middle of the afternoon when the workouts tend to be over before the games even start, those guys seem to be dragging just a little bit more than everybody else.
They caught 10 bullpens, block balls, then they go to hit after they've done all that. And then the conditioning at the end, no wonder they're tired.
2 and 2. Cowgill to center field. 2 outs. And that'll bring up John McDonald. Goldschmidt stays at first base. The Blue Jays have come back on the Red Sox. It's 11-9 in the 9th inning. And the Phillies came from behind. They beat the Braves 3-2 tonight. The Phillies have 91 wins. 91-48. They're now 49-22 at home. And you know who's gotten hot all of a sudden is Raul Ibanez. He had another home run this evening. He drove in 3 yesterday.
9 or 10 straight years with 30 doubles.
He played so many years in Kansas City and Seattle. The last few here in Philadelphia, not literally here, but he's in a bigger market, especially getting East Coast attention. I think people, even though it's the latter part of his career, realizing, boy, Bonnie's had a nice career.
He can hit.
2-0 in McDonald. He also made one of the greatest over the fence catches I have ever seen.
Jamie Carroll.
Yeah.
But that was the same day, remember, that Gary Matthews Jr. made the remarkable catch in center field.
I won't forget that, because honestly, that catch that Ibanez made, I said that to me is the greatest catch I've ever seen over a wall. And then Gary Matthews, as you said, made a catch later that day. You said, wait a second,
that was better than that one.
Yeah, that one may be even better.
I could see it from Gary Matthews Jr., but Ibanez going up over the wall.
I mean, he's running back and he's blind to the baseball. He just jumps up over the wall, and then all of a sudden puts the glove out, and he found the baseball. 2-1. And McDonald pulls it down the line into the corner. Let's see if Matt Williams sends Goldschmidt. He will. And Goldschmidt's going to score the tying run on a 2-out double by John McDonald. Just his second RBI in an Arizona uniform. 3-3 ball game in the 6th.
All 3 runs that the Diamondbacks have scored tonight have come with 2 outs. The rare time the breaking pitch did not go to the location that Kevin Millwood wanted. Goldschmidt run pretty well for a big man. And with that double by McDonald, it keeps Joe Saunders in the ballgame.
Rosario will skip out to the mound. Well, the Rockies want to get after that Arizona bullpen, which has been vastly improved this year, but the Rockies have scored 12 runs off that bullpen the last 48 hours.
7th spot last night.
Saunders lines it down the line. And here comes McDonald with the go-ahead run. So Joe Saunders getting back at Kevin Millwood. After Millwood homered off of Saunders earlier. Saunders with an RBI single, his 4th ribby of the year. Now at the top of the order coming up, Jim Tracy going to go get Kevin Millwood.
Sliced it inside the bag at third base because the ball was up. It was belled high.
So Millwood walks off. Arizona in front 4-3. For your child's college or just talking about it? Starting your child's college invest savings account. Start when they're young. Helps you prepare financially for when that day arrives. When you send them off to school, it only takes a few minutes at collegeinvest.org. Back at Coors Field, the Rockies now trailing 4-3. Matt Reynolds will take over for Kevin Millwood. 2 outs in the 6th inning. Gerardo Parra, the leadoff hitter for the Diamondbacks, is 1 for 3. Joe Saunders at first base.
Matt came into last night's ball game to face Miguel Montero. Montero hit the squib hit down the third baseline. Facing Parra, who's hitting .241 off left-handed pitching this year.
Wigginton playing behind Saunders naturally, and that goes to the backstop, and Saunders will move to scoring position. A wild pitch from Matt Reynolds. That was a slider that must have completely slipped out of his hand.
Just came out all wrong on that slider. Just a 25 average for Parra with runners in scoring position and 2 outs.
And a base hit for Parra. Cargo gets to the baseball. Saunders, no way he's going to run. Now with Aaron Hill coming up and Justin Upton behind him. We'll see if Jim Tracy goes to Matt Belisle, who you know is ready. He's been throwing.
I would think he would. And that's exactly what Jim's going to do.
Three straight 2-out hits. 4-3 Arizona. Back in a moment. The 6th inning, runners on the corners. Matt Belisle will face Aaron Hill, who's 1 for 3.
Matt with the 10 wins. One of those wins was last night. Third of an inning, got Paul Goldschmidt.
Right,
do the offense rally.
Yeah, do the same thing tonight. We'll get Aaron Hill here. Rockies go have a big bottom of the 6th inning. You're the pitcher of record. He is Mr. Versatile in that Rockies bullpen.
And you need a guy like that who you can count on to pitch every single day if you need him to, but he can pitch from the 5th inning to the 9th inning.
One and one. Only 27% of inherited runners have scored, which is a career best for Matt. Here's the 1-1 fouled off, 1-2. And a ground ball to short. In the inning, Paul Goldschmidt comes around, as does John McDonald, and it's a 4-3 Arizona lead. Sports is brought to you by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, Jack's really big chicken sandwich combo is back for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. By College Invest, are you saving for college or just talking about it? And by the Courtyard by Marriott on the 16th Street Mall. Ask about our hometown sports package. Rockies and Diamondbacks meeting for the final time this year. And Arizona holding a 4-3 lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning with Jeff Houston and Alana Rizzo. I'm Drew Goodman. It'll be Troy Tulowitzki, Ty Wigginton, and Seth Smith. Earlier in the broadcast, I was telling you that the Rockies, I showed you a graphic, they've obviously struggled at third base this year, finding offensive consistency or somebody to be able to put their foot down there. The Rockies third base 28th in batting average at .216, 24th in slugging percentage, 24th in RBIs, just 51. Well, at shortstop, they are number one in every significant offensive category because of this guy.
And he just continues to do it year after year after year. And oh, by the way, he has 4 errors on the season.
Amazing. 2-0. He has a base hit against Joe Saunders in his last visit to the plate. 1 for 2. Tell you what may surprise you also. And he's got another base hit. And Troy takes a wide turn. He'll head back as Cowgill got there. So a leadoff single. Troy represents the tying run. That'll bring up Wigginton. So you look at first base production. And Todd Helton's had a terrific year, batting average wise. Obviously, Todd doesn't hit the number of home runs he used to, but he's been solid this year with 14. And he has 69 RBIs. But you couple that with what Giambi's done, and on occasion when Wigginton's been over there, this may surprise some people. First baseman, 5th in Major League Baseball in RBIs, the Rockies' first baseman. They're 11th in home runs. They're 7th in slugging percentage. So very, very respectable.
In a tandem that has worked well in the amount of playing time that they have each have received.
Because there are more boppers in baseball that play first base than anywhere else.
You got Prince Fielder, you've got Joey Votto, you have Albert Pujols, you have Mark Teixeira. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Big man in Philadelphia, Ryan Howard. Adrian Gonzalez with Boston. I mean, it seems like every
Miguel
team.
Cabrera.
Yeah, Miguel Cabrera. It seems like every team has one. And yet that combination for the Rockies of a lot of Todd Helton and occasional Jason Giambi, and they have very, very comparable numbers in terms of output from that position. And that was, as we all recall, one of the big question marks going into the season. What would the Rockies get from Helton? What would they get from that power spot?
Was it going to be the same numbers, the 250 average from Todd, the home runs, not in double digits? He's answered that this year. Rex Brothers for the Rockies, Ryan Cook for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Doug just handed us that note. I was looking at it for about 5 minutes trying to decipher it. You could be a doctor, Doug. I don't know if anybody would go and visit you, but at least you write like one.
What?
2 and 1.
I read it. Maybe because my father-in-law was a doctor.
And you have your bifocals on.
Maybe you should get them.
Borrow yours when I need them. Here's the 2-1 inside. 3 and 1 on Wigginton. I'll tell you, since we're on that subject, one other spot, just outfielders overall. The Rockies grouping 17th in home runs, so that's more middle of the pack, but 7th in slugging percentage because the doubles and triples. Fowler and Smith. Ball 4, 2 on, nobody out, and very quickly get back to the ball game. 9th in RBIs. Kirk Gibson, sensing trouble, is going to have to go to his bullpen here with nobody out in the 6th inning. And it's been a bullpen that the Rockies have gotten after the last 2 ball games.
And late in the game with David Hernandez yesterday.
He hasn't asked for the baseball yet, and he's not going to.
Well, maybe because he thinks that Seth Smith might try to lay down a sacrifice bunt, and leaving Saunders in left on left could also factor into the reason Ryan Cook has stayed out in the bullpen. And Kirk Gibson said, Joe, you're my man, at least for this hitter.
On the outside corner, let's take a look at tonight's Century Link high-speed pitch. Joe Saunders has hit 92. Kevin Millwood, the Rockies starter, hit 91 on a couple of occasions. Smith, the ground ball to first and a strikeout. Tulowitzki, the tying run at second, the go-ahead run at first, and Ty Wigginton. Jeff, you hit from the left side. And I know primarily you hit against right-handed pitching in your career, but in this situation, especially after the first 2 pitches, would you start looking away?
Yes. That's where Joe Patterson tried to pitch him last night. He went to the gap in left center field.
Parra makes a catch. 1 out. Rosario looking over toward the Arizona dugout to see if they go bring in the right-hander. Joe Saunders was looking over there for a second also.
He's thinking back to the 4th inning.
Now, I don't know, we just caught Kirk Gibson on camera there pointing, and I don't know if he was pointing. It was hard to tell if he was pointing back at Joe Saunders, saying, "No, you go get him.
You're the man."
And I'm, I don't want to read something that's not there, but it certainly looked that way, didn't it?
Give him some more confidence.
Rosario hit a long home run in his last at bat after getting an infield hit, a little 45-foot squib up the third base line his first time. So he's got his first 2 major league hits and his first major league home run out of the way. 2-0 the count. Let's take a look at our Coors Light freeze cam. The connection, Rosario against the fastball of Joe Saunders. 448 feet later it would land. That's brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And then you got a changeup on 2-0. It's 2-1.
And that's the difference between Double-A and the major leagues. Pitchers throwing changeups in a fastball count. 2-0.
On Willeen Rosario. 21 home runs this year in Tulsa, the Texas League. Last year he hit 19, but he missed a good portion of the latter part of the season when he tore his ACL. He did a great job with the rehab and actually was ahead of schedule, participating throughout spring training.
Jason McWilliams at the Stedman Hawken Clinic rehabbing Willeen.
2-2, and Saunders strikes him out. Down and in. So that'll be the second out, and it'll be left to another rookie, Jordan Pacheco.
92-mile-an-hour cut fastball.
4th strikeout for Saunders, all here in the last 2 2/3. Pacheco, a comebacker and a line drive to short. Boy, Pacheco was interesting. He sat soft there.
Well, after lining out to short and the comebacker that was on an off-speed pitch, you can tell how bright this young man is by already recognizing the tendency of Saunders and how he wants to pitch him.
In the air down the right field line, and it's going to twist foul. 2-strike count on Pacheco. If Jordan were to reach, the 3rd straight catcher by trade would come up. Eliezer Alfonso's in the on-deck circle. Rockies right now have 4 guys who catch on their roster. And Rosario, Iannetta, of course, Alfonso, and Jordan Pacheco, who's starting at 3rd. He started at 3rd yesterday.
Colin Cowgill in center field was playing Pacheco right behind the bag straight up until he got to 2 strikes. And now he's 15-20 feet on the opposite side. Big gap in left center.
He went changeup away. It's 2-2. Tulowitzki led off with a base hit. Wigginton walked right behind him. Smith hit a fly ball to left. Rosario struck out. And here we are, 2-2. Saunders working to Jordan Pacheco in the 6th. And Pacheco hits it in the air to center field. Easy play for Cowgill. And Saunders, after a meeting with Kirk Gibson, works out of the jam. We'll go to the 7th for 3 Diamondbacks. Alexis look back. Third inning, Kevin Millwood, with the Diamondbacks trailing 2-0, hits one out. His third career home run. Later in the inning, Carlos Gonzalez would tie it with a monster shot to right center field, his 25th of the year. And then in the fourth inning, the Rockies would take the lead. First career home run for Willeen Rosario. That one traveled 448 feet. But the sixth inning with 2 outs, a couple of key 2-out hits. First by John McDonald and then by Joe Saunders, of all people, against Kevin Millwood. And that gave Arizona the lead they currently enjoy 4-3. It's brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. Go see them, South Broadway in Littleton. They will take good care of you. Rex Brothers is on. Justin Upton, Miguel Montero, Paul Goldschmidt in the 7th inning.
4 days for Brothers in between appearances.
Rolls out of the bullpen, throwing 97.
23 pitches against the San Diego Padres in the win for the Rockies on the Saturday night game.
You know, Huey, we always talk about young players. You want to see growth if you're management. You want to see growth as a fan. You assume a guy get called to the big leagues isn't a finished product. We've watched tremendous growth with this young man just over the last couple of months.
Really, since the All-Star break, where the strikeouts have gone up.
This ball's well hit to left. And Justin Upton has just made it a 2-run game with his 28th home run of the year.
And one of the few bad pitches that Brothers has thrown in the 2 months that we were talking about. 28 home runs, 83 RBIs. Doesn't get much easier for Justin Upton than where that pitch was located.
Just a 4th home run allowed by Brothers. And Miguel Montero takes a strike.
And that home run notwithstanding, but the walks are down and the strikeouts are up for Rex Brothers.
That's just the 5th hit he's allowed out of the last 34 hitters he has faced. So our timing was off. We're bragging about Rex. He gives up the home run to Upton, but he has really made significant strides. 5-3 the score, 1-1 count on Montero. And the slider's fouled off. Montero has 15 home runs this year. 6 have come against the Rockies.
He has 11 in his career against Colorado. The next closest team is the San Francisco Giants with 5.
He has 74 RBIs. 22 have come against the Rockies. So, you know, more than 25%.
I know he did the damage down in the Arizona series in Phoenix.
And because he catches, you know, we're talking about 15 games. There's 3 games he didn't play it. 2-2.
It's 7 RBIs when the Rockies were in Phoenix last week.
Trying to compete with James Loney for biggest Rocky killer 2011.
2 home runs.
I'd still give the nod to Loney.
I would too. Matt Kemp's not far behind on that list.
No, Kemp's, well, he's had a big year against everybody. 3-2. Lefties just 2 for their last 22 against Rex. Here's the 3-2. Well, Montero quick on that inner half, isn't he? numbers at Coors Field pretty darn good.
Rex consistently has been sitting between 95 and 97 miles an hour with his fastball.
That was 98, but it was out of the strike zone. Still nobody out. Montero at first base. Paul Goldschmidt coming up. Bob Apodaca going to the mound. We're answering our AT&T trivia question. So everybody's busy right now, Huey.
You want me to give the answer?
Well, remember the big hint we gave earlier.
Yes.
Who holds the Rockies season record for wins by a reliever? One of Susan Strand's all-time favorite
Gabe
relief pitchers. Gabe White. Went 11-2 back in 2000. And Matt Belisle has a chance to eclipse that.
That many wins out of the bullpen, they start to call you Vulture.
What an affectionate nickname, huh?
It's all in good fun.
Goldschmidt a single his last time up. He's 1 for 3. 5 runs, 12 hits for Arizona. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Rockies. So the Diamondbacks, for the 43rd time this year, have produced 10 or more hits in a game. Arizona is 35-7 this year when they have 10+ hits in a game, which is second in the National League to Philadelphia. Philadelphia is 47-8.
What's even more amazing is that from the guys that started the beginning of the year to now that have been with Arizona, they don't have one batter that is hitting over 300. Justin Upton now is at 299, Parr at 296. Nobody hitting over 300.
But they've had a season where everybody has contributed a big hit or a bunch of big hits.
Well, we saw it back in the 6th inning, excuse me, with the 2-out RBIs by John McDonald, who is hitting 8th, and the pitcher, Joe Saunders.
One and 2 on Goldschmidt. And a strikeout of Goldschmidt. Out number 1 in the 7th inning. Now, if you're wondering about the Rockies, Dougie did a little research, and the Rockies have produced double-digit hits in 53 ball games. They are 38-15. It's the 6th best record in the National League. But you see the contrast. Talking about Arizona, looks like they're going to be a playoff team. We know Philadelphia is going to be a playoff team. Arizona's lost 7 times with 10+ hits. Philadelphia just 8 times with 10+ hits. The Rockies have lost 15 times when they've had what you would normally consider a really good offensive day.
But it comes back down to the pitching staffs. And that's where Arizona has made the improvements this year. Their bullpen last year, a 5.83 ERA. This year they've lowered it right at 2 runs a game less coming out of the pen.
That's remarkable, and it's why they are where they are in large part. 2-strike count now on Jeff Blum.
Now the ERA for the bullpen, same amount of games, 142, is 3.86 this year. Now Lindstrom got up a moment ago. He's loose and ready if need be.
That's down 1 and 2.
King Soopers and the Rockies want to thank fans on September 17th with King Soopers lunch bag to the first 10,000 and special giveaways between innings. Part of the Salute the Fans week.
Two and 2 on Blum. And It's fouled off. Five-3 Arizona. Montero at first, and it's 3-2 now.
Kurt Gibson, usually an aggressive manager. Start Montero to stay out of the double play. Not that time.
Yeah, he's not doing it. And I think, Jeff, and I know you'd agree, is that Montero has a real conservative lead with Brothers, the left-hander, and Brothers obviously strikes a lot of guys out. And it would almost be a virtual lock that if you have a swing and miss here, Rosario is going to throw out Montero. I mean, he's got a 1.5-step lead.
Could fall back on the bag.
He went around. 2 outs. Colin Cowgill will come up.
Hard slider from Rex Brothers. Jeff Blum now 0 for 8 on the season hitting right-handed.
Cowgill's 1 for 3. That misses. You were saying, and it's accurate, that every time out there, Rex Brothers, I mean, there's no day it seems tired because he sits on 95 to 97, occasionally 98. And I just looked up his average fastball this year has been 95.2. And he throws his fastball more than 75% of the time, and his slider averages 86.
And that's why people have said with his arm that in the future he could be a closer with that kind of velocity and stuff on the slider.
That slider's awfully good. 1-2.
And right at the range you want to see the difference between a fastball and a slider, 10 to 12 miles an hour.
Ground ball to third, kicks off Pacheco to Tulowitzki, and Wigginton comes and gets it. Well, Pacheco got one of those in-between hops, and now it's first and second for John McDonald.
The second hop ate Jordan up for his second error. Off the heel of the glove, Troy Tulowitzki trying to help him out, but Ty Wigginton comes off the bag.
And 5 hitters deep for Brothers. 27 pitches. That's enough, according to Jim Tracy. Wants to know, are you a Buff or are you a Ram? September 17th, keep your channel right here on Root Sports for the Rocky Mountain Showdown between CU and CSU. Get your seat early as we'll start the day with a 60-minute pregame show. Starts at 10:30 in the morning. That'll be a blast. The Buffaloes and the Rams. Matt Lindstrom to face John McDonald, looking for that third out here in the 7th inning.
Arizona 2 for 7 tonight with runners in scoring position. 55th appearance for Mr. Lindstrom.
Donald 2 for 3, an RBI double in the 6th inning. That tied up the game, and then Joe Saunders, of all people, a single down the left field line to score McDonald and give the Diamondbacks a 4-3 lead. Upton hit a home run to begin the 7th inning. It's 5-3. Montero at second, Cowgill at first, a walk and an error. Here's the 1-1.
The pitcher spot due next for Arizona. Sean Burrows has proceeded to the on-deck circle.
Line drive to Ellis, and that ends the inning. Upton hits a homer. It's 5-3. Stretch time at Coors Field. The Diamondbacks, they come up at the bottom of the 7th inning. 9-1-2 in their order. And let's check in with Alana Rizzo. Alana?
All right, guys, we have a minor league playoff update for you. The Modesto Nuts have a 2-0 lead over Stockton, top of the 6th inning. The 2 runs coming off of 2 home runs for the Nuts. It's the California League playoffs. That game in the top of the 6th inning. Again, Modesto Nuts 2-0 over Stockton. California League playoffs. Let's see if they can get it done tonight, guys.
All right, Alana, thank you. Well, the combination of Young and Fowler will try to get it started for the Rockies here in the 7th inning. EY is going to pinch hit for Matt Lindstrom. And then Dexter, Mark Ellis. After that, Cargo and Tulowitzki.
Brian Shaw's second appearance in the series. Third of an inning in the game back on Monday night.
He got the final out. He struck out Kevin Kuzminoff in that 10-7 victory on Monday afternoon, actually.
Yes.
Here's the 0-1 to EY. 1-1.
We also have to congratulate Tri-City. They beat Boise. And
Swept
they're
them.
moving. Yes, they swept them, moving on to the Northwest League Championship Series, either against Vancouver or Eugene.
And this is a little looper to second. So Joe Saunders goes 6 innings and he allows just a couple of runs on 7 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 4.
3 home runs, but he limited the damage.
I said 2, excuse me, 3 runs.
110 pitches.
Want to know on Dexter. The side armor Ziegler and Alberto Castillo, one of 3 lefties right now that Kirk Gibson has at his disposal. 2-0.
It's kind of funny to watch Ziegler warm up. When he's a sidearm pitcher, he throws normal until he gets into his throwing position on the mound.
Castillo also kind of drops down, doesn't he? Now, if those guys switch sides, it wouldn't work. They'd be hitting each other.
But that's why they're where they're standing on the bullpen mounds.
Down the line, fair ball. Extra bases for Dexter Fowler. And it kicks away from Upton. Dexter will stop at second base. So Fowler, a 1-out double. And for Dexter, his 30th double of the year to go with 15 triples.
Hooks it past Goldschmidt inside the bag at first. Kicked off the wall, but Justin Upton recovered quick enough to keep Dexter at second. Smart move from Dex.
Safe at second, safe and secure. New York Life. Different time of the game, different situation. Rockies not trailing by 2. Dexter may have kept going. Here's Mark Ellis. And Mark thought about the bunt because Jeff Blum is way behind the bag at third. Even though he bluffed it, look around.
Still do it.
I agree with you. I think it's still in play here. (16 extra base hits for Fowler in his last 16 ball games. 9 doubles, 3 triples, 4 home runs, and a .328 batting average.
Impressive slugging percentage.
He's had a marvelous second half offensively and defensively. Too tall, 2 balls and a strike on Mark Ellis with Cargo on deck.
Talk about Miguel Montero being a Rockies killer. Well, Dexter Fowler in the last 6 games against the Diamondbacks has been a snake killer.
And all of his home runs against the Diamondbacks.
The Rockies Children's Book Drive will be before the game on Sunday. New or gently used children's books will benefit Denver Health's Reach Out and Read program. Cash donations will also be appreciated. Collections are at all the gates.
Down the line, foul. Wow, that was
That
close.
looked like it was on the line.
Throwing his hands up immediately was Todd Tishner. And Jim Tracy thought it was fair also.
This will be the best look.
Where's that divot?
It was foul. Todd was right on the call.
Well, he wheeled around, got good position, and that's a tough call.
Especially how much that ball was hooking.
Three and two. You wonder if
this will be the last batter, if that's what you want.
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure at this stage, 7th inning, Kirk Gibson's going to piecemeal it. Castillo for Cargo. This has popped up. It's playable.
When you have 3 left-handers out in the pen, you can do that. Talking it over with his bench coach, Alan Trammell.
So he'll bring in Castillo. "5-3 Arizona, 2 outs in the 7th. Access featuring the Asheville Tourists. It's tomorrow night at 6:30. You'll meet and get to know Tyler Matzik a little bit more, and you'll meet and get to know Joe Michaluk, the skipper, more than a decade now in Asheville. That's Rockies All Access tomorrow night at 6:30 right here on Root Sports. So Alberto Castillo is aboard. He's battled some shoulder issues this year. On for just the 13th time. Lefties are 4 for 14 against him. And he's on to face one man. That's Carlos Gonzalez with Dexter Fowler standing at second base, a 1-out double. Rockies staring at a 2-run deficit here in the 7th.
Castillo missed those 31 ball games, as you mentioned, 3 rehab appearances prior to his recall.
And Cargo hits a comebacker, and that's all for the Rockies in the 7th inning. 5-3 as we go to the 8th. The Diamondbacks in front. Ecotech Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. Joe Saunders, Kevin Millwood, the starting pitchers tonight, and both fared pretty well. Millwood ran into trouble in the 6th inning, giving up a couple of runs there. And Rosario has his first career home run for the Rockies. The 1st inning, got his first career hit, an infield single. Miguel Montero has a 2-run home run. He extended his hitting streak to 15 ball games. Cargo hit a 442-foot home run. Kevin Millwood, his 3rd career home run. Lots of long balls tonight, but the Rockies find themselves down by 2 as we go to the 8th inning, and they'll turn to their 6th pitcher of the night. Huey, it'll be Josh Hrenicki.
Yeah, 4 holds in his 12 outings this season for Josh. Just 5 hits in the last 8+. Was recalled again when Jason Hamill went on paternity leave.
Sean Burroughs, a .380 hitter at Coors Field, swings at the first pitch, and it goes to the left field corner. Smith will throw it back in. It's a leadoff pinch double for Sean Burroughs.
It's 13 hits now in 47 at bats, pitch hits at bats for Sean Burroughs. And you'll see most pinch hitters, when they come off the plate, or off the bench, excuse me, coming to the plate, first fastball they see, they're going to swing at it. Might be the only one they get. Sean Burroughs did exactly that.
Parr at the plate's 2 for 4. Kirk Gibson trying to build another run.
We saw what happened last night.
And he saw what almost happened in the 9th inning on Monday afternoon. And the Rockies scored 4.
You're also moving towards the middle part of your lineup. So get that base runner to third base.
2-0. Hrenicki misses again. It's 3-0.
Surprise with Parra swinging 3-0. I don't understand if it was Justin Upton or Miguel Montero.
Well, he just swung at a pitch that was out of the strike zone. 3-2. Hill on deck. Got him. Came all the way back, and he strikes out Parra. 1 out.
93 with sink. Running away from Gerardo Parra. Not a good at bat when you're ahead in the count 3-0, runner at second base. Your job is to get him into scoring position at third with less than 2 outs. Now you give the confidence back to Josh Hrenicki.
Well, Hrenicki was with the Blue Jays. Interesting story from Doug Linton, who was his AAA pitching coach when the Rockies acquired him this summer. He said, "What do you throw?" He said, "Well, I throw fastball, slider, changeup." And Doug Linton asked him, did you throw anything else at any time? He said, well, yeah, I used to throw a curveball. He said, but Toronto said, we want you to eliminate that. He said, well, let me just see it. So they're in a bullpen. First time he's seen him throw. And he breaks off a beautiful curveball. He said, you'll throw that here. And he added it back to his arsenal. And you saw the first one he threw in this at bat. There's Doug Linton working, helping out in the bullpen with Jimmy Wright. He threw the first one to Aaron Hill, locked him up.
If you have a good curveball, altitude won't affect it. I'm trying to figure out why, if it's that good and we've seen it good, why Toronto would make him put it in his back pocket.
Huey, all I could think is, a lot of bullpen philosophies, pitching coach philosophies, organizational philosophies, when you're working down there, have two you can
pitches.
Rely on, maybe a third, but I mean, he had the full complement.
Doesn't make any sense if it's above average. Why junk it?
1-2.
Some days you might go out there and not have your slider working. And you need that other go-to pitch.
Here's the 1-2 to Aaron Hill. And he struck him out with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. When you look at his repertoire, he's got obviously a ton of arm strength. Gets pretty good movement on his fastball. Looked like the four-seam job.
That was a straight four-seam. And overpowered Aaron Hill.
Again, kudos to Willeen Rosario. He's worked with 6 different guys tonight. I mean, he never met Kevin Millwood before yesterday afternoon. Reynolds, Belisle, brothers. Again, going back to spring training, Lindstrom and Renicky. And it's not there's no AAA relationship here again, folks. Because remember, Rosario came up from Tulsa in the Texas League in AA.
And what I've been impressed with is his ability to block pitches when you're not sure how hard that ball is going to break from each pitcher that you haven't caught before. But he's knocked everything down except for the one Millwood threw that hit out in front of home plate and bounced over his head, which nothing he could do about that one.
Yeah, if you don't have a feel for a guy's movement first time and it's in a big league game, that can be unnerving for a catcher. He's handled everything. 1 ball, 1 strike to Justin Upton. Single and a home run tonight for Upton. 8th inning, Diamondbacks leading 5-3. Rockies had a 3-2 lead on the Rosario home run. Jim Miller and J.C. Romero throwing for the Rockies.
Romero would get Montero if it came to that point in this inning.
And hopefully it does not.
No.
They're 2 outs, 2-1. With Burrows at second, he had a leadoff double. And it's not going to come to that. What a job by Josh Renicky. He gets Upton to pop out after 2 punch outs. Well done, Josh Renicky. Now the offense needs to take over. Tulowitzki will begin things. This young man is, you know, can the Rockies rally here? Because I'm going to nod off. 5-3 the score. Hey, if you want tacos, I know that young man does tomorrow. You can receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more runs for the Rockies Taco Special. And the way to do it is text TACO to 720-720. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Troy Tulowitzki will face David Hernandez. Hernandez had a rough day yesterday. One of just a few he's had all year, but he gave up 5 runs in that 8th inning. Of course, Tulowitzki got him with a 3-run home run to give Colorado a 5-3 lead. And on his way off the mound, he was ejected by home plate umpire Todd Tishner. He evidently said a few unflattering things to Tishner. He was unhappy with what he thought were a couple of missed strike calls. 1-0.
First time in his career Hernandez had been ejected, but also the 5 runs matched a career high for him.
And Tulowitzki hits it to McDonald. One out, and that'll bring up Ty Wigginton.
Kirk Gibson showing the confidence to run Hernandez right back out there.
As George Frazier has said many times, if you work out of the bullpen and you're called upon 60, 70 times, look out.
That get somebody?
I think everybody's all right.
Good.
That's not the right direction. 2 outs. But anyhow, if you go out there 65, 70 times, you're not going to have 65 scoreless outings. It just doesn't happen. You're not going to have your ace stuff every time.
There's going to be hiccups, but you also better have a short memory, because the next day it's a whole new ball game.
2 outs. Seth Smith, who's 0 for 3, will come up. To 25,320 in the ballpark tonight. Last night a similar crowd, 25,691. Rockies on Labor Day had over 40,000. Here's the 1-0 to Smith. Inside corner at 96. Smith's been swinging the bat well, 10 for his last 28 at the dish. And this is an easy play for Goldschmidt. Well, a much different inning tonight for David Hernandez than last night in the 8th inning. 5-3 Arizona will go to the 9th. baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Sonic, you've got two hands for a reason. Put the Kickin' Coney in one and the Bacon Blue Dog in the other. They're new and only at Sonic for $1.99. By Verizon, America's largest and most reliable wireless network. And by Pizza Hut. Get any pizza, any size, any toppings for just $10 when you carry out. We go to the ninth inning. The Rockies trailing the Diamondbacks 5-3. They've been out hit 13-8 in the contest. Time to check in with Tom Helmer. Tom?
Drew, we'll talk about pitching in. Both starting pitchers could swing the bat tonight. One had a home run, another one had an RBI single. We'll also talk about Willeen on me. Willeen Rosario, his first major league hit and his first major league home run tonight. We'll show you those in the game summary and, of course, get you down to the clubhouse. I hope I'm saying his first name right. I've said it probably 7 different ways since he was called up. I've called him Willeen, Whelan.
No, Willeen. That's right.
Willeen, okay.
Yeah, we'll lean on Willeen.
I just kind of phoned it in, Drew, and if I happen to hit the nail on the head, then it's fortunate for me.
You did well. Willeen.
You got it right. For me.
You got it right tonight.
All right, well, that's good because it worked out good for our topical, which was Willeen on me. So
I like it.
All right.
And hopefully in the bottom of the ninth inning, they're going to lean on Willeen again because he's going to be part of a contingent that will face J.J. Putz. But first things first, J.C. Romero will face Miguel Montero. Paul Goldschmidt and Jeff Blum will follow. Jim Miller continuing to throw in the Rockies bullpen.
The 6th reliever used tonight for the Rockies. All 3 left-handers out of the pen. Romero being the last one. '30th appearance.
One strike count on Montero. 1 for 3. That 2-run home run, also a walk.
Those appearance numbers we saw from J.C. Romero includes his stint with the Philadelphia Phillies this year. 24 ball games, 3.68 ERA.
I was ready to punch out Montero. I guess that just missed. 1 and 2.
It looked like it might have been up, but it was at the top of the zone.
Told you my eyes are not failing me. Here's the 1-2. JC jumps off the mound, back on the mound. There's his work with Philadelphia. This is his 6th appearance with the Rockies. At one point in time, JC was main cog in that bullpen. He was their late left-handed specialist.
635 career relief appearances.
Nice job as he strikes out Miguel Montero. 1 gone in the 9th inning. And let's see what Alana Rizzo's up to. Alana?
Well, guys, I was sitting down here in the camera wheel next to the Rockies dugout when that line drive foul ball shot into the Rockies dugout. It hit Jose Morales in the face, but thankfully, guys, it hit him off of the bounce, off of the wall, just kind of tagged him on his right side by his upper cheek. He's fine. I talked to him. He's okay, but hit him off the bounce. A scary moment coming in here, but he's okay. He talked to Keith Duggar about it. He says he's fine.
He
has a red mark, though.
I was talking to Jose the other day. I mean, for 3 months, he's trying to get well with the wrist injury, and it's a slow process. And then he kind of aggravated the other wrist doing some T work, and he's going to have to continue his rehab, play in the winter, and then he gets a ball hit at him in the dugout. We'll be back. Ninth inning, Paul Goldschmidt's coming up, and Jim Miller's on the hill, and this is a great story. It's a story of perseverance. Jim Miller originally with the Rockies organization and then moved on. He reached the big leagues with the Baltimore Orioles for a little bit in 2008. He actually pitched well there. He had a 0-2 record, but a 1.17 ERA in 8 relief appearances. And this is his first appearance on a big league mound, Jeff Houston, since that time. Former 8th round pick in 2004. He was part of the Rodrigo Lopez deal in 07.
That flame did not die out. He said, I've been there, I want to get back, and he has.
And the slider's a little bit high. Ball 1. At the start of the year, Miller was working long haul relief in Colorado Springs, and the Sky Sox the first month of the season, I think Andrew Johnston was closing games, and he struggled a little bit. Miller took over and he took off.
24 saves for Colorado Springs this year.
Goldschmidt hits a high fly ball. It's going to be out of play down the right field line, and those 24 saves ended up being second in the PCL.
He was an all-star this year in the PCL. Just goes to show you, if you have the desire and you're still wearing a uniform, a uniform where you feel like you still have a chance, keep going until they tear it off you.
Three and one. That pitch outside. So Goldschmidt walks, and that'll bring up the switch hitter Jeff Blum.
Well, you want to be at Coors Field this Saturday for the Colorado Lottery's Mega Millions Day. Select fans will win prizes courtesy of the Colorado Lottery.
In the bottom of the 9th inning, the Rockies will have Willeen Rosario, Jordan Pacheco, and then the pitcher spot. Blum is 1 for 4.
Tell Jim Miller still has enough arm. 93 miles an hour, 94.
I think for most middle relievers, they pretty much know going in it's going to be, if they're fortunate to hang around for a while, it's going to be a nomadic existence. You don't see too many middle relievers that stay with one organization. They're usually, you know, if they're good, they're there a couple years and then they end up somewhere else. On the ground to first. Wigginton, good feed to Tulowitzki, back to first, and Wigginton could quite stay on the bag and grab the baseball. So there are 2 outs, and that'll bring up Colin Cowgill.
Coming off the bag, Wigginton spins. Throw to Troy on the money. Throw going back was off the line. Over the top of the runner, Troy moved to the outside, and with Goldschmidt on top of him, Troy tried to jump and make the throw at the same time.
Cowgill's 1 for 3, and he reached on an error. Here's the 1-1. Slow breaking ball. 71 miles an hour missed.
We talk about the young kids at Pacheco and Rosario being nervous. There's still some nerves for Jim Miller, with not having pitched since 2008 the big leagues.
Troy bobbles. He's got no play. Just his 5th error all year.
And his first error since way back in June against the New York Yankees.
That is amazing. He almost didn't have a. When was it? What was the date?
It was when we were back playing the Yankees at Yankee Stadium.
So he almost went the whole season of summer without an error.
Right. July, August, 50, 60 plus games.
And that was a routine ground ball. It happens. John McDonald. And good breaking ball there for a strike. Well, that's a lot to cover. If you could throw that for a strike, Jeff, you're talking about 92 to 94 with the fastball, and then he has a curveball in the low 70s.
It's almost Livan Hernandez curveball.
And then a slider.
June 26th was the last time Troy made an error.
That is ridiculous. And he'll get another chance. I guess they'll keep it. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Rockies need to rally against J.J. Putz. Five to 3. Rockies will have the bottom third of their order to face J.J. Putz. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. So J.J. Putz, with 36 saves this year, is on for the 51st time.
The club record for the Diamondbacks is Jose Valverde's 47 back in 2007, but since coming off the DL in late May, 15 for 15 is J.J. Putz. In save opportunities, 1.23 ERA.
Yeah, the Rockies need a base runner, and that man will come to bat. So Willeen Rosario will lead it off. Rosario, an infield hit, his first in the big leagues and his second day in the big leagues, and then he hit a monstrous home run in the 4th. He's 2 for 3. This is great experience for Rosario and the man on deck, Jordan Pacheco. Not just to get your feet wet at the big league level, but to play a team that in all likelihood is headed to the postseason and to see one of the better closers this year in the National League. That's another strike, and now he's in that split count. It's 0-2.
It's just all invaluable experience for both these young men to play against a team that is fighting for something, but also see the difference between AA and the major leagues.
Splitters in the dirt, 1-2. Diamondbacks have left a season high 12 on base tonight. They have not coughed up a game that they've led through 8 innings this year. And the strikeout, but it gets away all the way to the backstop, and Rosario will reach. That's the second time we've seen that tonight. It happened earlier in the ball game with Justin Upton when he struck out in the 5th inning and reached on a wild pitch.
Huge at bat for Rosario to be able to reach and bring the tying run to the plate. Now, to me, Montero should have dropped to his knees instead of trying to backhand and pick that ball. Keep it in front.
Jordan Pacheco at the plate. Jordan's 0 for 3. He was 2 for 4 in his debut yesterday. And this ball is hit well to center field, but it's right at Cowgill. And now here comes the big man representing the tying run. Jason Giambi to face J.J. Putz.
The 15th time Giambi has faced J.J. Just 2 for his previous 14.
Inside, ball 1.
And the Diamondbacks going with the shift on Giambi. John McDonald, the shortstop, on the second base side. Aaron Hill way in the hole at second, closer to first base.
Here's the 1-0. This is popped up down the left field line, and nobody's going to get there. You know what I haven't seen this year that we're looking at defensively from Arizona? We've seen all kinds of infield shifts for Giambi. I mean, we see that more often than not. But the outfield usually plays fairly straight up. The outfield for Arizona is swung over like a broken windshield wiper to the right.
And also Justin Upton, especially in right field, has moved back 3 or 4 steps from where he normally plays.
And now
they're going back over.
Yeah, wow. Cowgill just moved, literally, folks, off camera. He moved 15 yards. And it didn't make a lot of sense because it was a split finger coming, and Giambi was way out in front. Cowgill literally just moved 15 yards.
I mean, he started over in this area right there.
One and 2. And Putz strikes out Giambi for the second out in the 9th, and that'll bring up Dexter. Speaking of windshields, if yours is damaged, call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com. Rockies down to their last out. They trail by 2 runs. Willeen Rosario is at first. He reached on a wild pitch after striking out.
They're not going to hold Rosario on. Goldschmidt playing back now at first base.
And Dexter fouls it off. Fowler doubled down that first base line his last time up. 1 for 4 tonight. One and one. And Rosario will take second base. Joe Saunders is on the plus side. Kevin Millwood is on the hook right now in this ball game. Got the clap going.
Yeah,
got
rally cap on.
Got the rally cap. Puts last year with the Chicago White Sox. Good swing by Dexter. 2-2. Worked primarily in a setup role last year, but he pitched exceptionally well. Arizona interested in him closing again. He was in New York the previous season, working as a setup man to K-Rod after so many good years in Seattle.
And he wanted to get back into the closer's role.
2-2. 3-2. I think anybody that's done it certainly believes they can do it again. He had a 40 save season.
But his fastball's also come back. It's now 94 to 95 again, like it was in Seattle. And he threw even a little harder there at 97 to 98.
And this one is in the air to center field. Left center field, and Parra will make the catch, and that's the ball game. It's also the season series. Arizona wins tonight 5-3. And they take the season series 13 games to 5 in what has been a surprising and somewhat storybook-like season in 2011 for Arizona. Again, the winning pitcher is Joe Saunders. He's now 10-12. Kevin Millwood takes the loss. Millwood is now 2-2 in a Rockies uniform. Today's delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. Well, Joe Saunders gave up the long ball tonight, but he didn't have traffic on when he allowed the long ball. He struck out 4. He walked just 1. And Kevin Millwood ended up giving up the go-ahead hit to Joe Saunders. A little bit of payback for Saunders, who had given up a home run to Millwood earlier in the ball game. So our Jimmy John's delivery of the game supplied by Joe Saunders. Arizona wins it again 5-3. Stick around. The Toyota postgame show is up next.